All right, welcome guys to our Facebook training today. My name's Trevor, and we're going to talk a little bit about post frequency as a business, which is a really common question. So I was just explaining this to all of you guys a second ago who are here with me live, but let me explain it again for everybody who is watching this recorded. When you have a business on the internet, it's likely in the year 2017 or beyond that you'll have a Facebook page. They go hand in hand. If you don't have a Facebook page, talk to your consultant about it. Let's work to get you one. But once you get it set up, the question is always, well, what should I post, and how frequently should I post it? And for today's discussion, we're not going to talk about the what to post. We're just going to discuss the how often. And there's actually some really good data out there. There's been studies done in recent years, multiple studies. In fact, what we're looking at here comes from recommendations from about 10 different studies that have been done to essentially say, here's how much you should be posting on Facebook. Because if any of you guys have noticed this, if you're social media consumers, sometimes when you're on social media, there's people out there who tend to talk too much. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you've ever been in a social setting, maybe with a friend or a set of friends, or with some of your family, you know the type of person that when they get in that social setting, they simply just talk too much, right? They don't give anybody else a chance to tell a story or to get to know you, because they're too busy talking, right? You guys know the type of person we're talking about. That's the same type of person sort of in social media that overshares, and they're constantly posting information, and it gets really, really annoying. And if you start to annoy people on social media, you become sort of quote unquote spammy. People are going to unlike your page, they're going to unfollow your social account, and therefore not see any of your information at all. So for those reasons, guys, I feel like it's pretty important that we figure out frequency. So let me show you this graph before we go further, or this little infographic here. For Facebook, most of the studies come up with similar information, and if you put them all together, they all recommend roughly one post per day. That's it. One a day. If you do more than one, in theory you could go maybe up to 2 a day, but it's suggested by some of the research studies that if you're as high as 2 a day, that's borderline spammy or annoying. That's not too bad, right? 1 a day. That's optimal. Now, you don't have to post every single day. I suppose you could skip Saturday, you could skip Sunday, but it's wise to actively share information on Facebook at the rate of about one piece of information per day. Now, that could be something that you personally share, that maybe it's from your website or from your own blog, or a piece of content that you created, or it could be sort of like a reshare of some other content out there, but do it about once a day. As far as the when is concerned, research suggests that somewhere between the hours of 1 to 4 in the afternoon, I'm assuming Eastern time, is going to be the most optimal time to share, which, based on research, is just when people are on social media a bit more, which kind of makes a little more sense, doesn't it? Like, it's in the middle of people's workday. Maybe it's around the lunch hour. They hop onto Facebook on their phone, right? Sometimes when we get home, we get busy with family and friends and other activities. In the morning, sometimes we're just busy with other things, school or work. Between 1 and 4 is the optimal time. So seriously, guys, once a day is fine. If you skip a day, that's okay too, right? Like, it's much worse to overshare than undershare in this case. So some of you guys are going to say to yourselves, well, I don't know if I can share that much. Once a day seems like a lot. Well, We'll start with 3 times a week. One, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. Share one thing on Facebook and call it good. This research is based off of several companies, and let me just show you the companies. This is from a particular article online, and let me just zoom in here. I know you probably can't see this very well, but I want to show you this is a data-driven discussion here. Let me just mark with my pen here these different companies. So I don't know how to pronounce some of these, but these are the different companies: Buffer, Constant Contact. You guys might recognize the name Constant Contact, Dow Social, HubSpot, LocalVox, so on and so forth. All of these companies ran a study on post frequency, and the conclusions they make are really pretty much in the ballpark with one another. Let me see if I can find here where they make the conclusions on Facebook. Yeah, here's some of their conclusions. I just shared you kind of the general summary of their conclusions, but let's look at some in a bit more detail. One of these companies suggests that posting to Facebook no more than once a day is best, or you'll start to feel spammy. We already talked about that. Another company says you can post to Facebook twice a day before likes and comments drop off. One thing about Facebook is you want to encourage social engagement. Like when you post something, you want people to like it and you want people to comment on it. And these guys are basically saying, well, you really lose that sense of engagement if you do it too much. So twice a day is probably pretty good. Constant Contact says to post on Facebook a minimum of 3 times per week, which is what we talked about a second ago. Keeping your maximum posting frequency to 10 times per week. Okay, that's right in line with what we talked about. Dow Social says 2 Facebook posts per day is a minimum. Works well. Okay, they use that as a minimum. HubSpot says 10 times per week. LocalVox posts once a day on Facebook as a maximum. So you can see how, we won't continue to read through these, but guys, I'm not going to belabor this point. It's pretty clear. 1 to 2 times a day, maybe 3 to 10 times a week. I always say if you've got really interesting stuff to say, like going back to our party analogy we used just a minute ago, if you've got you've all met that person that talks a lot, but what about the person that talks a lot, but they've got the best stories in the world, right? They're really well traveled. They've seen a lot of things and a lot of people, and you actually don't mind sort of sitting next to them and listening to those stories just sort of flow from them. That right there is okay, right? And that's kind of the point with some of these guys. They're like, well, you can share more, maybe even a couple of times a day, but the content's got to be good. If it's crap content that you're sharing, your social engagement's not going to be very good, and it's not going to really amount to much of anything for you. Okay, so let's leave it at this, guys. You can choose, right? Some of you guys are social media people, some of you aren't. But we'll leave it at this: 1 to 2 a day, maybe no more of a maximum of 10 times a week, and let that be sort of your guide to the amount of stuff or the amount of times that you post onto Facebook. We will talk another time about what's effective in terms of the content of your posts, but let's be clear on the frequency first, okay? Let's see. Any questions or concerns about that? Does that make sense, guys? I want to keep it short and sweet tonight. Please don't overshare. Please don't overshare. And when you do share, let me just maybe touch on the what for just a quick second. Don't let everything you share just be about your products and your website. People get bored by that. If you've ever noticed what companies do on Facebook, and maybe if you haven't, try to take some time to notice when you see an ad pop up on Facebook. It is not always a direct advertisement for a product, is it? Maybe you didn't realize that, but it's not. A lot of times it's an interesting article about something in the industry, right? It's like Nike is sharing, and every once in a while you'll see Nike directly advertise a new shoe or a new product release. But then a lot of their posts in social media are like, hey, did you hear about the event that we put on to try to get the world's fastest marathoners to break a 2-hour marathon? And they've got an article there or a video. It's like Nike's not necessarily selling me anything. They're just giving me some really cool content that I can consume, I can like, I can share, I can comment on. And that right there is the power of social media, because if I do that, I like and I share, some of my other contacts on Facebook may see that, they may like it and share it, and then that's how something ends up going viral, right? It's how it gets out there and seen by so many other people. Okay, let me see if there's anything else I need to cover here in my notes regarding frequency of posts on Facebook. Yeah, okay. No, I think we're good. Hopefully that was helpful to you guys. Very simple, short and sweet today. We'll cover more of the what in the future, and hopefully at least now you know how much time you need to take and how many times a week you need to be posting on Facebook, if at all. Okay? Guys, we will see you all next time. Thanks for sticking around.